It was tabled at the league meeting. It'll come up again in May. But the idea of banning the tush push, and not just the tush push, the conversation now has centered on a rule that was changed during your playing career. After the 04 season, prior to that, pushing and pulling, all pushing and pulling was outlawed. They then made all of it legal in 2005. So you remember how playing the position was taught before and after.
Yeah.
What is your take on this now? What do you remember then?
Well, so it's interesting. I don't remember it being that big of a deal. I remember them being very clear you can't pull. But I'm even looking back, Tom, and I can almost remember plays where I would come in and push the pile. Think about like John Runyon for the Eagles during that time and some of those guys. They never called it. Like if you came in and pushed the pile forward, they never called that. In fact, somebody did the research, and you probably know, Tom, the last time like pushing was called was like in the 90s, like 93 or something. The last time they actually called it. My issue is there's two things that they keep talking about. Number one, the health and safety. And number two, they really don't like how it looks stylistically, right? I don't think they're going to be able to write a rule that changes that. First of all, the health and safety aspect of it, that is the posture and the mechanism in which the O-line and D-line are in their stance. Even if you take away the tush push, that's every quarterback sneak, bro.
Right.
That's every 4th and inches. Like that's the posture. That's like, so they're changing nothing in my mind in terms of the health and safety, right? The next thing about how it looks stylistically, let's say they go back to the pre-05 rules, okay? The Eagles are still going to have, or any team, they'll have a tight end or whoever on Jalen Hurts' hip, and they will have that guy wedge block, basically, to prevent anybody coming from the outside, push the guard in front of them, protect the side of Hurts. In other words, it's still going to, in my opinion, Tom, it'll still look the same. It'll look very, very similar. You won't see the full-on two-hand push forward, but you'll still see guys, I believe, behind Hurts or on the wings of Hurts, filtering in there to try to help root out a hole for him and give him more space. So I don't, even if they go back to the pre-05, they might be happy that they passed a rule to ban the tush push. I personally believe stylistically, it will still probably look very similar.
So when you say wedge block, you mean basically, all right, you put two tight ends on either side of Jalen Hurts, and you just have them run forward like they're going to block. So if somehow the guard or the center gets beat and a D tackle's coming through, you're hitting that guy behind him.
Right, so they put their helmet on Hurts' hip, okay, and they drive block either way, so they protect Hurts from the outside, and they continue to push the pile forward. So maybe they're pushing the center and the guard, they're pushing that forward. I think it's going to look very, very similar no matter how they try to write the rule.
And you're right. The John Runyon highlight reel, which you can still find sometimes like made on Instagram, and it's all like the play is over. And then 3 seconds later, here comes John Runyon, full Superman, over the pile, hitting a guy who's not involved in the play. And that's why they changed the rule was downfield, not those plays specifically, which you should be able to see, but it was just the every play of a guy going down to block. And was he pushing? Was he trying to hit the defender? They weren't able to officiate it. And that's one thing that always drives these rule changes beyond health and safety is if we can't officiate it consistently, then let's not try to have that be the rule, or let's rewrite it.
And Tom, let's say they go hard and fast with that rule, and you cannot push the ball carrier. So the offensive linemen, like me, we're not just going to stand around. So what are we going to do instead? Rib shots, kidney shots for the defenders that are coming to gang tackle, right? If we're not allowed to push our guy forward, then we're going to try to pick those guys off. It does not make sense to me that, let's say there's one ball carrier and one tackler. So 5 other tacklers can come in and gang tackle and knock that ball carrier backwards, but you're not going to let any of the offensive players push him forward. That doesn't make sense. But let's say that's the rule, okay? Then you're going to see offensive linemen come through and just try to pick those guys off the pile with helmets and shoulders to the ribs, to the kidneys. I mean, it's actually going to be worse from a health and safety standpoint for the defenders downfield.
Well, we also saw the other part of that, which is Washington last year. Everybody remembers the repeatedly jumping over the pile and the threats were going to award the score. Washington also was having guys off the edge just run and try to tackle the pushers.
Right.
If you watch it, they've got guys just lined up, and all they're trying to do is get to A.J. Brown or Dallas Goedert or whoever it is and basically tackle those guys before they can push. That's the part of it that I understand. I also think that just the play itself, it does not look like football. It looks like something else. It looks like a rugby play. To your point, even if you don't go with the alignment, you have a champion power lifter at quarterback. You've got the most talented offensive line in the NFL. Those plays of just head down, move the pile, are we then going to get to the point of, well, now you got to be head up, and what are all the fallouts of that? That's where you get into a complicated part of this.
1,000%. They're still going to be extremely successful running the quarterback sneak. Landon Dickerson and Mailata in particular on the left side, movers of men. Those guys are absolute monsters. So I'd be surprised if the Eagles aren't still effective no matter how they do it.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.